John Fisher from St. Lambert's Church in Sioux Falls. At the invocation, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. So at this time, please rise.
Gracious God, be with us this night. Fill us with your wisdom and grant us your peace. Bless this city and all who lead it. For we ask this as we ask all things through Christ our Lord. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd just like to recognize we have Boy Scout Troop 48 here tonight to watch the commission or council work, and we appreciate you being here. And Mark Schlentka is the troop leader here, so we want to welcome you, Mark, as well. So thank you for being here. Let's start. Is there a motion, additions, or to approve the consent agenda?
I so move. Knutson.
Knutson, second.
Jamison, second.
Jamison, seconded. Further comments? Seeing no further comments, all in favor of approving the consent agenda, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Council members Benega,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Costello,
Yes.
Jamison,
Yes.
Kavanaugh, Knutson,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
All members present have voted. The consent agenda has been approved. 7 yes, 1 excused. Is there any additions, or is there a motion to approve the regular agenda?
Move to approve. Brown.
Brown,
Second,
is there-
Costello.
Costello, seconded. Further comments on the motion to approve the regular agenda? Seeing no further discussion, all in favor will vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Benega,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Costello,
Yes.
Jamison,
Yes.
Knutson,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
All members present have voted. The regular agenda has been approved, 7 yes, 1 excused. This is the time that we set aside 5 minutes for anyone that wishes to address the council, and we just ask that you give your name and address. So at this time, does anyone wish to address the council? Seeing no one that is coming forward, we will move into the regular agenda, items 28.
New 2007 retail wine license for Royal Financial LLC, Winter Circle Casino, to be operated at the northwest corner of Madison and Marion, including video lottery terminals.
All right, thank you, Denise. Lori Bossman with the City Finance Office, and I'm here for items 28 through 35. Denise went through item 28, and we had already approved a retail malt beverage license at this location in January, so this is just the accompanying wine license. Item 29 is a new 2007 package liquor license. This was to be for DNF Liquors, and this is going to be withdrawn at the request of the applicant, so item 29 withdrawn. Item 30 is a new 2007 package liquor license for Liquor Mart South to be operated at 5004 South Cliff Avenue. Item 31 was to be a new package malt beverage license for the Tan Mai on East Rice Street. And this one also has been withdrawn as they need to rezone the property prior to obtaining the alcohol license. Item 32 is transfer of a 2007 retail liquor license from Doug Quaker, Touche's, 323 South Phillips Avenue. And this will be going to an LLC entitled DCK LLC for Touche's, 323 South Phillips Avenue, including Sunday sales and video lottery terminals. Item 33 is transfer of a 2007 package liquor license from the Hy-Vee Food Stores Regal Liquors at 2022 South Minnesota Avenue to the new Hy-Vee to be operated at 3000 South Minnesota Avenue. This would be effective March 20 or upon completion of the new location, and also pending final inspection per fire. Item 34 is a special one-day malt beverage license request for Philanthropy Promotions, Inc., J&L Harley-Davidson for Hot Harley Nights. One event is for Friday, July 13 at their location at 2601 West 60th Street North. The other is for Saturday, July 14, and this will be in the Falls Park West area, and the borders are defined on the agenda. And then item 35 is a special one-day malt beverage license and special one-day wine license. And this will be for the Southeastern chapter of the South Dakota Engineering Society. And this will be held for their annual banquet on February 24th at 1000 North Lake Avenue. And I can answer questions on these items, and I do have applicants here for the items as well.
Questions of Lori on items 29 through 35? Others that wish to address the council on those items? Okay.
Mayor, I just have one comment, and I talked to Jim earlier, and I'd just like to strongly encourage everyone involved with the outdoor events to continue to work with the police department to control the underage drinking. You have such a wonderful event and such a great cause and so many good people working for that I would just hate to see anything tarnish the event.
Further comments? Others wish to address the council on the items that were just discussed from 28 to 35? Seeing no, we'll come forward. Is there a motion to approve items 28 through 35 and withdrawn, or 29 and 31? Is that right?
That's correct. Withdraw
Okay.
item 29 and 31.
Okay. Is there any motions for that?
So moved, Jameson.
Jameson moved. Is there a second?
Second, Litz.
Litz seconded. Further comments on the motion to approve? Seeing no further comment, all in favor of that motion to approve items 28 through 35 with 29 and 31 are withdrawn, will vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Benega,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Costello,
Yes.
Jameson,
Yes.
Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Knutson,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
All members present have voted. It's been approved 8-0. Item 36.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the revised ordinances of the city by adding 15.43.089 Environmental Land Use Control Overlay District.
Good evening, Erica Beck with the City Planning Department. This is an ordinance that I brought before you for first reading last week, and I've also sent to you a memo regarding this specific ordinance. I want to walk through the first couple of sections of the ordinance itself, including the description and the intent of the ordinance. The intent itself says that the City of Sioux Falls recognizes that numerous environmental constraints exist in geographic areas within and near the City of Sioux Falls. Based upon an evaluation of environmental factors and physical characteristics of the City of Sioux Falls and outlying areas, it was determined that all future development be environmentally compatible. The City of Sioux Falls desires to lessen the environmental impacts of future development in areas that are prone to environmental issues, specifically due to past issues and knowledge of that property. The Environmental Land Use Control Overlay District ordinance shall identify sites that need legal regulations to ensure protection of human health and the environment against exposure to contaminated soil, groundwater, or both that may be present on the property as a result of historical uses. The purpose of these regulations is to ensure the safety of any future redevelopment on a known environmentally impacted site. This ordinance will establish procedures and criteria for reviewing and restricting land uses which have the potential to pose a risk from a contaminated site. Specifically within this ordinance, Section C of the ordinance, Environmental Land Use Control Overlay District regulations, you will find each of the regulations that can be placed on an identified site within this ordinance. Specifically, right now, we have 2 identified sites within the ordinance, and they're identified on the screen above you. And they are specifically related to our brownfield property. One is the West Redevelopment Corridor, and one is the East Park Corridor, which is Falls Park West. Each of the sites specifically on the map have identified regulations that are placed on each of the sites, one of which is that a notice of elevated concentrations of lead or other contaminants may remain on the property and will be placed on each property deed by an environmental covenant as they are platted. Another is specifically related to the Falls Park property, and that is that it will be zoned for RC, recreation conservation use only, and we've already done that, I believe, by ordinance, City Council ordinance. 3 is that notification and approval from the Sioux Falls Planning and Building Services Department shall occur for any excavation or subsurface construction of any kind that could penetrate the cap that is located on the Falls Park West property. And 4 is that the following construction management procedures would be implemented for all above approved subsurface activities, and that requires a health and safety plan. And that's also required through the environmental division in the engineering department. There are other, 5 through 14 are also other specific regulations that are placed on each of these properties. and can be placed on future properties that may come before and are located within this overlay district. If you have any questions, I would be more than welcome to answer them for you at this time.
Questions, Eric? Others?
Yes, this overlay district that we're voting on tonight is just for Falls Park and or uptown area there. If we use this overlay elsewhere, does the city council have to approve the overlay then?
Yes. There are 2 specific sites within the overlay district right now, and if we were to increase that boundary, we would have to bring that before the city council to add an additional site.
Okay.
Further questions of Eric? Very good, thank you. Others who wish to address the council on item number 36? Council discussion or action?
I move for approval.
Knutson moves. Is there a second?
Second, Litz.
Let's second it. Further comments on the motion to approve? Seeing no further comments, all in favor of that motion to approve? Vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Benega,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Costello,
Yes.
Jameson,
Yes.
Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Knutson,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 36 has been approved, 8-0. Item 37.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the revised ordinances of the city by adopting the 2006 International Building Code and amendments thereto.
Good evening, Ron Bell, Building Services. What you have before you is a proposal to adopt the most recent edition of the 2006 International Building Code. The IBC is promulgated by the International Code Council. It's published, renewed every 3 years. This is the commercial code for all building construction. We have reviewed this code. We've had seminars with the architects. We've tried to get the word out. Council has in their packet what we consider to be the most major changes. We've had the discussions, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have on that.
Questions of Ron on item number 37? Others that wish to address the council on item 37? Council discussion or action on 37?
Move to approve. Brown.
Brown moved. Is there a second?
Second, Litz.
Let's second it. Further comments?
Yes. This evening, we're going to be dealing with this code and also 5 other codes. And most of these codes, the residents of Sioux Falls really do not know very much about, because these are regulations that the citizens do not deal with on a daily basis. However, there are people who are directly involved with these regulations, and some of these people have begun to speak out against some of the unreasonable regulations that we already have on the books. For example, owners of rental property have become more outspoken against some regulations what they feel are unreasonable. Also, I have begun to detect an undercurrent among some builders of discontent with too much regulation in Sioux Falls. Several weeks ago, one builder confided in me that he was getting tired of all the regulation in Sioux Falls. He said it's getting worse. Now, maybe one of the reasons this builder said that is because of the code enforcement citations that have been issued during the past year. Here I have 32 pages of code enforcement citations that have been issued. Now, a lot of these deal with individuals and their own property, but also many of them deal with builders too. A reasonable person looking at some of these violations would say that some of this is kind of Mickey Mouse. Also, prospective homeowners should be concerned about regulations driving up the cost of housing in Sioux Falls, thereby making housing in Sioux Falls more unaffordable. If I could just briefly share one example. The previous house we owned, we decided to add a bedroom to the home to improve the quality of life for my family. Well, to add one bedroom to improve the quality of life for my family, we had to spend thousands of extra dollars bringing up the rest of the house to code. We had to spend hundreds of dollars for an extra window for the natural light. But the one that kind of bothered me the most was the spiral staircase to the loft in the bedroom. I shopped around Sioux Falls, to Menards, and at that time we had Builder Square. And I found some very nice spiral staircases. However, when I mentioned that I wanted to use one of those spiral staircases, I was told those spiral staircases are illegal in Sioux Falls. And so what I had to do is I had to go to an individual and have them custom-made this spiral staircase, which cost me a lot of extra money compared to the spiral staircases that I could have bought on the retail market here in Sioux Falls. Or if I just lived outside of Sioux Falls, I would have been able to use those spiral staircases. So that's just one personal example of regulation costing a lot of money. Tonight, instead of passing all of these regulations, maybe we should think about, trying to cut back on some of the regulations that we have in Sioux Falls. However, some people would say, hey, if we do too much of that, housing in Sioux Falls will fall apart and we will not be able to continue to grow and so forth. But it's important to keep in mind that what we're dealing with tonight, these international codes, there's only a few communities in South Dakota that have some of these international codes. And let me read these cities for you right now. Aberdeen, Fort Pierre, Hot Springs, Hughes County, Huron, Lead, Mitchell, Pierre, Rapid City, Sioux Falls, Spearfish, Whitewood, Winter. Now, that's about 13 local governments that have these codes here in South Dakota. Now, obviously, Rapid City, I got this off of the International Code Council website. But let me continue. But we also have, obviously, some of the largest cities in South Dakota with these codes, for example, Sioux Falls and Rapid City. However, when you take a look at the total population of South Dakota, actually 64% of the people in South Dakota do not live under these codes. 36% do. So what I would suggest tonight is that we not pass these codes and start taking a look at the regulations that we have and try to have a more cost-effective regulations. Because as I mentioned before, most of the people of South Dakota do not live under these international codes that we're dealing with tonight.
Is that a substitute motion?
That's my comment on the motion to...
So there's no motion. Okay, we've got a motion been made and seconded to approve item 37. Further comments? Seeing no further comments,
Just a question, Mayor, for Mr. Bell. What's the main reason we have codes in city government?
Life safety. Minimum life safety standards as defined by these national model codes. Everything is going to be relating to the built environment, whether we're talking about mechanical systems or residential or commercial or handicap accessibility or structural. These are all based on life safety criteria, proven life safety criteria.
Thank you.
okay, we've got a motion been made and
Mr.
seconded
Chairman.
to approve.
Comment. Ron, could you speak briefly to the local review that these codes went through?
Well, we're on the International Building Code right now. With that, what we've done is we had an individual come from ICC back in April of last year that went through a book this thick of all the code changes with all the architects. It's sponsored through us and South Dakota building officials. So that gave the start of letting all the architects know what the code changes are. During the AIA convention in October, I repeated the process and met with the architects and went over those code changes. So as far as the commercial code, the architects have had two seminars of going through this criteria. Plus, in addition to that, we go through our Board of Appeals. Now, we repeat that process with each of the other codes, more so with residential and mechanical.
And were there reviews or their concerns addressed in?
Sure.
Yeah, with all the regulatory codes that we have right now, and then also we're going to be adding some new ones here. I've asked this question before, but we should have some idea of how much this is costing us,
I can
the increased cost in housing.
I can tell you, Mr. Stagers, that If you take a look at our amendments that are in the residential code, which is an ordinance that's coming up, the vast majority of those amendments are done as a result of not increasing the cost of construction. You can take a look at the vast majority of those, and we've got hopefully somebody from the Home Builders Association that could attest to that. That we took criteria out of the code. For instance, there's a criteria of requiring anchor bolts, which are now 6 foot on center, to go to 12 inches on center with a physical connection based on engineering principles that came out of Seattle. That would have increased the cost, I don't know, maybe $500, $800 per house. We just simply took it out because we felt that that wasn't a requirement. There's provisions in here for re-roofing houses that now the code says that you can't overlay one layer, which we've been doing in this town for years and years. And the reason that was put in there, because that is the better way of doing it. We had a concern that there are people out there that can't afford to take off their overlay of shingles, such that we maintain the same status quo as what we've been doing. We watch out for affordability, Mr. Stagers. I'm telling you.
Okay, I mean, I'm happy about those examples you've given us, but still, we have no idea, with all of these other regulations, we have no idea how much we're adding to the cost of housing. We have no idea.
Well, if you would like to come and visit me, I'll go through with them item by item, and I think that you will see that the vast majority of the local amendments that we have in this code are going to reduce the cost of housing.
Further questions? Got a motion been made and seconded. A motion made by Brown, seconded by Litz to approve item 37. Further discussion? No further discussion. All in favor of the motion approved? Vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knudsen?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
No.
All members present voted. Item 37 has been approved. Item 38.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the revised ordinances of the city by adopting the 2006 International Existing Building Code and amendments thereto.
This proposes to adopt the International Existing Building Code. This was first promulgated by ICC in the 2003 edition, but it was adopted by reference. Over the last 3 years nationally, there was a move by building officials with ICC that felt that this gave too much away for existing buildings. So what happened was that they made modifications of this to tighten up some requirements, specifically with fire detection, fire alarm, and automatic suppression systems. But another criteria that came out of ICC was that instead of just adopting by reference, if a municipality chooses to utilize this code, it's got to be adopted by ordinance, and that's what we're proposing to you. This again was brought to the Building Board of Appeals for their review, and there was a unanimous decision for approval for this to be brought here to City Council. Any questions?
Questions of Ron on item number 38? Others that wish to address the council on item 38? Council discussion or action?
Move for approval, Jameson.
Jameson moved. Is there a second?
I second.
Who seconded?
Kevin.
Kavanaugh seconded. Okay. Further comments?
Well, on this one, I'm not going to ask the question, but I suspect we have no numbers on how much this is going to cost overall.
Or save?
Well, we can have cost and then savings. And what's the number going to be?
If you take a look at utilizing the International Building Code for existing buildings, you have to meet, the remodeling that's going inside of an existing building has to meet that code. On the other hand, what this code does, it gives the designer alternates to not have to strictly comply with all the provisions of the building code. Number one, to conserve existing buildings. For no other reason that this code was developed such that it lightened up some of the scoping requirements of the building code such that the costs don't get so high that people decide not to do it. I would call that savings.
In one example, but I mean, we can show all kinds of maybe one or two examples, but overall, we still don't have any number from your department as to how much this costs or how much we're saving. We have no idea. We're voting in the blind here.
Bob?
I'd like to make a statement in defense of this here. You know,
trying to say how much something costs is very hard to define because there's different situations all the time for different buildings and different requirements. So there's no way of assessing a level of cost that these codes are going to perceive. And another thing with the revitalization that we're going to do and with multi-housing, there are concerns about things. I think it's my belief as a builder that this existing building code book is going to save everybody a lot of time and a lot of money, and it will set some parameters that we badly needed for quite some time.
Got a motion been made and seconded to approve item 38. Further comments? Seeing no further comments, all in favor of the motion to approve 38 will vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knudsen?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
No.
All members present vote. Item 38 has been approved, 7 yes, 1 no. Item 39.
Second reading and ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the revised ordinances of the city by adopting the 2006 International Residential Code and amendments thereto, to modify certain references to judicial review in Chapter 11 Residential Code, Chapter 15 Electricity, and Chapter 33 Plumbing, and to increase certain fees for licensed residential contractors.
This proposes to adopt the 2006 International Residential Code. For lack of a better term, this is a home builder's code. This code is applicable to 1- and 2-family dwellings, townhouses, and accessory buildings. This code went through a thorough review with the Sioux Empire Governmental Committee, Code Review Committee. We met on a monthly basis, went through every item in here to try to get their input. We did get their input. We did end up making local modifications to the code. In addition to that, we also went through our Building Board of Appeals for their review. They unanimously proposed adoption with this. Packet is given to you. I'll be happy to answer any questions with that.
Yes, on the egress windows that are going to be required in homes with basements, whether they're going to use the basements or not, how much of the egress window is going to add to the regulation?
Practically every house that we see, even with an unfinished basement, already is provided with egress windows.
So why do we have this in here?
Because people in the future end up finishing out their basements. And every sleeping room has to have an egress window.
Yeah, but you
The
said,
the contractor is planning ahead for that future remodel done by the homeowner.
so once again, if they're already putting the egress window in, why do we have to have this in code?
Because there are provisions in here that does require an alternate way out of a basement during a fire situation, whether you have a habitable room or not. That was the change that was done at the national level.
Right, and how much is that going to cost now additionally?
Practically every basement already has windows, so I can't say that there is going to be a cost.
For the ones that don't have an egress window, how much is it going to
We
cost?
never see it.
Steve, do you want to come up? Thank you.
Good evening, Steve Van Buskirk. I'm the president of the Home Builders Association, and I just wanted to come up and thank Ron and for taking the time to sit down and meet with us and go through this IBC code book. It gave us a chance to work together with the city staff, and you know, if there are things that didn't look like they made a lot of sense to us, that we could work on them and we can modify them locally. So we did have that opportunity. I'd just like to say we appreciate that. It's a great working relationship that we have.
Thank you, Steve. Questions, Steve?
Steve, has the National Home Builders Association done studies concerning the regulatory costs, how much it adds to housing?
Yeah, there are. I mean, there are studies what codes add to the cost of housing. This IBC code was actually developed in conjunction with the National Home Builders Association. There's 3 model codes that are across the United States. So, but yeah, there are studies. I just don't have that information with.
It's in the tens of thousands, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, there's definitely impact.
Mm-hmm.
Further comments to Steve? Thanks, Steve. Others who wish to address council on item number 39. Is there council discussion or action? Is a motion?
I move for approval.
Knudsen moves. Is there a second? Costello seconded. Further comments on the motion to approve item?
Well, on this one here, I've been concerned about the regulatory costs. But in this one example, I was trying to find out the cost of these egress windows, Here, we're going to have in code where it's mandated that a new house has an egress window in the basement. Whether it's going to be finished off or not doesn't make any difference. You have to have an egress window. And I think that the builder of the house, the owner of the house, you know, they should be making the decision whether they're going to be using the basement for habitable reasons. If they're not going to be using it for habitable reasons, there's no reason to have an egress window. So to me, this is an example of arrogance of regulation here, trying to tell homeowners and builders, hey, you're going to have a basement, and we know you're going to finish it off and use it. Well, we don't have any idea at all. It's the owner that makes that decision.
Further comments, Kevin?
Just a question, Ron. Is there a requirement in this code for an egress window in a basement?
Yes, yes. For new construction. For anybody that comes in with a new house, it used to be that you would only be required to install an egress window in habitable space. On the national level, they changed that. They took out the word habitable.
And if I recall, you said earlier that the reason behind that for Mr. Staggers was to have a secondary means to exit the home if there was a fire, I presume if the staircase was blocked.
Correct.
Yeah.
Got a motion been made and seconded to approve item 39. Further discussion? Not. All in favor of that motion to approve, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
No.
All members present have voted. Item 39 has been approved. Item 40.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the revised ordinances of the city by adopting the 2006 International Mechanical Code and the 2006 International Fuel Gas Code to modify certain references to judicial review in Chapter 11, Mechanical, and to modify certain licensure provisions.
This proposes to adopt the 2006 International Mechanical Code and the 2006 International Fuel Gas Code. Both of these codes are used by our heating, ventilation, air conditioning, fireplace, refrigeration contractors. Both of these codes, again, went through our Mechanical Board of Appeals, item by item. All of the changes were brought to their attention. We took their input to develop the ordinance that you have in place. In addition to that, we have taken this to the local chapter of ASHRAE, which is the American Society of Heating, Refrigeration, and Air Conditioning Engineers. And we've also brought this to the Sioux Falls Heating, Ventilation, and Air Conditioning Contractors Association to review the code changes. With that, again, you have a packet of code changes. Any questions?
Questions are on item number 40. Council. Others wish to address the council on item number 40? Council discussion or action and motions?
Move for approval, Jameson.
Jameson moved.
Kavanaugh.
Seconded by Kevin. Okay. Further comments on?
Yeah, on this one here, unfortunately, if somebody wants to appeal a decision of the board or the hearing examiner, it's subject to judicial review. A lower standard, instead of being able to try to go to a higher standard for review, we've gone to a lower standard.
Further comments? We got a motion made by Jameson, second by Kavanaugh to approve item number 40. Further discussion? I see no further discussion, so all in favor of the motion to approve, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
No.
All members present voted. Item 40 has been approved. 7 yes, 1 no. Item 41.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the revised ordinances of the city by adopting the 2006 International Property Maintenance Code and amendments thereto.
This proposes to adopt the International Property Maintenance Code, 2006 edition. Again, this is promulgated by the International Code Council. This code deals with the maintenance of existing buildings, rental properties primarily. Prior to bringing this to you in ordinance form, we met with the South Dakota Multi-Housing Association on a couple occasions, went through the items. This is a very small code, and got some input from them as far as local ordinances. We also brought this to our International Property Maintenance Board of Appeals and got a unanimous approval for adoption. Any questions?
Questions are on item 41. Others that wish to address the council on item number 41? Council action. Is there a motion?
I move for approval.
Second, Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh seconded. Knutson moved. Kavanaugh seconded. Further comments on the motion to approve and comments? All in favor of the motion to approve item 41, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Benega,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Costello,
Yes.
Jameson,
Yes.
Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Knutson,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Item 41 has been approved. Item 42.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
you know, I had a mental lapse there. Could I change my vote?
Yeah, you can.
This one or the other
Thank you very
four?
much.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
No.
40, okay. That'll be noted. 42.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the revised ordinances of the city by adopting the 2006 International Fire Code and amendments thereto.
Good evening, Perry Bolden, Sioux Falls Fire. I'm here tonight to present to you for the second reading, the 2006 International Fire Code, the last of the model codes to come through. And as discussed originally during the informational meeting on the 29th of January, and again at the first reading, the informational, we went through the PowerPoints and explained some of the changes. With this also, we have gone to the Board of Appeals with the changes that are coming with the document, not only the changes within the fire code, but amendments that we have made to the code. With that, I open up to any questions relative to the code.
Question, Barry, on item number 42.
Yeah, Perry, the one concern I have about these new regulations here is the requirement for a sprinkler system for a restaurant that has over 100 or more people. It used to be 300, and of course we had that fire, I guess it was in Rhode Island, where people were using fireworks or pyrotechnics or whatever, and you know, once those things happen, then everybody wants to change the codes and things like that. But the thing is, if it's good enough for a restaurant with 100 people, why isn't it good enough for a restaurant with 99 people?
Well, I think they look at it and base it on a risk analysis, if you will, just determining where is a cutoff. Obviously, if you looked at the NFPA standards, it's a requirement in an assembly occupancy by an NFPA standard. The international codes are a little less stringent from that standpoint. So it's just something that each model code organization looks at.
Yeah. I mean, we could have it at 500 if we wanted to.
Well, you know, I guess historically we have to look at what's happening not only in this country but around the world in this type of an occupancy, not limited to just a restaurant, but a bar typically where alcohol is involved, a bar or a restaurant. In the case of Rhode Island, yes, it was pyrotechnics, it was fireworks that were illegally, by the way, illegally used in that setting. But that's not always the case. You know, there's been hundreds of lives lost with this.
Yeah.
I guess it boils down to what are we willing to, as a society, accept for a risk in that type of an environment.
I mean, if I could just ask you, it really boils down to the economics, doesn't it? Because if you get a restaurant that serves 25 people and you start requiring them to have sprinkler systems, there's going to be a lot of people very, very, very upset because the odds of a fire are very minimal in the first place. So a lot of this is economics.
I would say to some extent, perhaps, but also you have to look at the nature of the venue, if you will. If you get into one that the potential is there for overcrowding, overcrowding has the most potential to lead to panic situation, not necessarily driven by fire, as was the case in the Chicago incident around the same time as the Rhode Island nightclub.
Other questions?
Okay. I'm a little skeptical about, you know, going from 300 to 100, especially here we are sitting in the town hall. Okay. We don't have any sprinkler system here. Are we going to, you know, come up to code here now? Since we have more than, are we going to put a sprinkler system in here?
This is not a bar or a restaurant, so it would not apply.
Yeah, but
and
I mean,
again,
hey,
it would only apply to new facilities.
You know, right. But I mean, you know, to set an example, for a nice restaurant with 100 or more people, we're requiring them to have a sprinkler system. And here we are. Sometimes we have a lot of activity going on here. Shouldn't we have a sprinkler system too?
Well, you're talking to a fire service professional that feels that every place should be sprinkled.
Yeah.
So,
And
you
so-
bet we should have a sprinkler in
So
town.
in the future, are we going to have a fire code saying sprinklers in homes? I mean, that's the ultimate, isn't it?
Ideal. That would be the ideal situation. Whether, that would ever happen here in the city of Sioux Falls. I will say this, Scottsdale, Arizona has had a sprinkler ordinance for over 20 years. In that amount of time, they've never had not a single life loss in a residential home that was sprinkled. So they do have a proven use. And obviously, the majority of our deaths that occur in this country don't occur in businesses, they occur in our homes.
Yeah. And you said Scottsdale?
Yes.
Yeah, where people are very wealthy that live there, and they can afford the sprinkler system. We couldn't really do it here and provide affordable housing, could we?
Well, I really can't
We're
speak
wandering
to
off
Scottsdale.
where we're at here. Let's stay on target here. Let's stay on target.
Move to
Further-
approve, Mayor.
Second, Kavanaugh.
Brown moved, Kavanaugh seconded. Further comments, others wish to address the council on item number 41? Seeing no further discussion, all in favor of the motion
Mr.
to approve
Mayor.
item 4? Go ahead, Kevin.
I'm going to assume that this one will pass by the same vote as the others. Before we go on, I just want to commend this administration and the vast majority of this council for their caring enough to be concerned about the citizens of this community and their safety, where they live, where they work, where they go to school, where they recreate. Dead people don't care how much you saved. And I think that's our responsibility to ensure the health and safety of the citizens of this community. I commend the majority of this council.
And if I may, this is a minimum standard. These are minimum standards.
Yeah, and I guess I should reply to that because, obviously I don't want anybody to die in Sioux Falls, but I do want people to live in reasonably priced housing without some of these regulations that we have just go overboard. I mean, that's all I'm concerned about. I do not want people to die in Sioux Falls.
Further comments? Got a motion been made by Brown, seconded by Kavanaugh to approve item 42. All in favor of that motion approved, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
No.
All members present vote. Item 42 has been approved, 7 yes, 1 no. Item 43.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending Chapter 23 of the revised ordinances of the city by adjusting the fee schedule.
This ordinance, again, we looked at our fee schedules, and for the most part, the majority of the fee increases that are incorporated here are fairly minimal. We took a real strong look at those that we spend a great amount of time in performing the duties that are affiliated with those items, that being fire protection systems and the acceptance testing thereof, the plan review, and the actual field work that's involved, multiple trips. And so there are a couple of those in there that there are some fairly significant changes. I laid that out in that spreadsheet for you for the informational meeting, just as a comparison. And again, I open up to any questions relative to this particular item.
Questions, Perry, on item 43. Others that wish to address the council on item 43, is there council a motion?
I move for approval.
Knudsen?
Second, Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh seconded. Further comments on the motion to approve? Seeing no discussion, all in favor of that motion to approve, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
No.
All members present voted. Item 43 has been approved, 7 yes, 1 no. Item 44.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending Chapter 38 of the revised ordinances of the city.
This particular amendment to Chapter 38, which is streets and sidewalks, be quite forward with this one. This is not one that would typically fall in fire's realm, but there was a particular section of this that referred to address requirements for buildings, and that one was in conflict with the fire and building codes. And what this amendment to that particular section does is bring it all into the same language, so there's no conflict within the ordinances, the city ordinances.
Questions of Perry on item 44. Others that wish to address the council on item 44, council action on
I
item
move
44.
for approval.
Knudsen, is there a second?
Second, Jameson.
Jameson seconded. Further comments on the motion to approve? Has been motion been made and seconded. All in favor of the motion will vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knudsen?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 44 has been
Thank you.
8-0. Item 45.
First reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the revised ordinances of the city by eliminating the ambiguity which directs parties that they may appeal their decision to circuit court, and inserting the aggrieved parties may have their decisions subject to judicial review as provided by law.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
this ordinance is brought forward by the City Attorney's Office, again in response to a decision which our circuit court has issued. The decision basically says we're in our code of ordinances. We talk about the right to appeal from administrative decisions. That is an incorrect term. There is no direct right of appeal. According to the circuit court, there is a right of judicial review. We're trying to remove that ambiguity and clarify that judicial review is, in fact, available from our administrative decisions.
Questions on 45? Let's move to 46.
First reading, major amendment, 2006-1201, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending Chapter 15.45.070, Planned Development Districts, allowing changes in land use as reflected in the revised sub-area regulations. West 77th Street and Minnesota Avenue. Planning Commission recommends approval.
Mike Cooper, Planning and Building Services, and I would just like to, first of all, thank both Perry Volden and Ron Bell for their hard work and work with these ordinances. We appreciate all the effort that they went through to get to this point tonight. This item is being brought to you tonight for an amendment, a request by the developer regarding signage. This is an office development that was approved some time ago, and there was a restriction at the time on the amount of signage that would be allowed. This amendment lifts that restriction. We've been working with the developer, Stencil Construction, on this amendment, and this will be recommended for approval at second reading.
Questions of Mike?
Yeah, Mike, can you tell us what was behind all this signage issue?
When the original zoning came through, there was a request to limit it. There was a provision that signs would be limited to one monument-style sign having no more than 32 square feet. And because of the number of tenant spaces, there's a desire to increase the sign area, and so this amendment would allow that to happen.
And how much larger is it going to get, from 32 square feet to what?
It's going to be based on the size of the office buildings, and so that will be determined by the individual projects that come through.
So I guess I have a question. Why do we have such a severe restriction in the first place?
That was requested by the original applicant that came through with us.
Are they here by any chance?
They'll be here in second reading if you want to ask them instead of asking me.
Yeah.
Further questions on item 46? Let's go to 47.
First reading, rezone 2006-10-24, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at West 34th Street and North Career Avenue. Planning Commission recommends approval.
This development is called the Grasslands, and it was also previously zoned. Now the owner, developer, is working with us on a new layout for the property, and there's a request to modify the boundaries of the office zoning and the residential zoning, and so this change would allow that to happen. This is in the area of 34th and Career Avenue.
Questions of Mike on item 47? Let's move to 48.
First reading, rezone 2007-01-10, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at East 26th Street and South Dakota Highway 11. Planning Commission recommends approval.
This property is being developed in conjunction with the adjacent land by Van Busker Companies. This is approximately 22 acres of land area that we're changing from agricultural to allow for multifamily residential development.
Questions of Mike on item number 48? 49.
First reading, rezone 2007-01-02, An ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at East 57th Street and Southeastern Drive. Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is about 1.5 acres of land area being developed by Clint Ackerman. And this is a request to change the zoning from office to residential. And the proposed use of the land will be for 2 fourplexes and 1 duplex on this property.
Questions of Mike on item number 49? Let's go to 50.
First reading, rezone 2007-01-03, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 2113 and 2117 South Norton Avenue. Planning Commission recommends approval.
This property is located between 29th and 31st Streets. It's east of Augustana College. It's going to be developed as part of the new North American Baptist Seminary development. And this zoning would allow that use to be developed on this property, so we're changing it from residential to institutional zoning.
Questions of Mike on item number 50? 51.
First reading, rezone 2007-01-06, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, rezoning property at East Madison Street and North Dubuque Avenue. Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is approximately 28 acres of land that was recently approved by the City Council, was recently annexed by approval of the City Council. The developer is now coming forward with a zoning plan for the property. It's being called Canterbury Heights, and the zoning will allow for single-family residential, twin homes, and multi-family residential on this property.
Questions of Mike on 51? Go to 52, Mike.
First reading, rezone 2007-01-12, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, rezoning property at West 60th Street North and North Career Avenue. Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is the site of the new University Center development. It's approximately 250 acres of land area, and this also was previously zoned. And now with the new plans that are being brought forward for both classroom space and research space, this zoning will allow that to happen, and we're changing it to a planned development district. On the west side will be the institutional uses for classrooms, and the east side of Career Avenue will be the research and also future classroom development.
Questions of Mike on item number 52?
Yeah, Mike, Career Avenue, is that going to remain a city street, or are we going to give that to them to run through their campus?
The proposal is to keep that as public right-of-way, but we would work with the University Center on putting in a median and making some other improvements through that area so that it does discourage through traffic. We've done something similar to this, only not quite on this scale, through the Southeast Technical Institute campus. But what we would like to do is work with the University Center people and as well as adjoining property owners and continue to allow this as public right-of-way, but discourage the through traffic. So that's the ultimate plan for that right-of-way.
Yeah. Also, I think there's going to be 1 or 2 roundabouts.
Yes.
And is the city going to be paying for those roundabouts?
We have been talking to the representatives of the University Center on funding for future utilities and street improvements, and I know that they're looking for the city assistance on making some of those improvements, but very honestly, I can't say tonight that is going to be a city-funded project or not. That issue hasn't been, we haven't talked to that level of detail yet.
Okay.
Further questions of Mike on item number 52? Okay, is there a motion to approve items 45 through 52 to set the hearing date for March 5th?
So moved, Jameson.
Jameson moves, is second by Knutson. Further comments? All in favor of setting the hearing date for March 5th for items 45 through 52 will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Council members Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Items 45 through 52. The hearing date is set for March 5th, 8-0. Item 53.
A resolution to approve one historical marker on city property, Yankton Crossing Bridge, Yankton Trail Park.
Erica Beck with the City Planning Department. This is a resolution to approve one historical marker titled Yankton Crossing Bridge on city property at Yankton Trail Park. The marker was approved by both the Board of Historic Preservation and the Parks Board in December of 2006.
Questions, Erica, on item 53? Others wish to address the council on item 53? Is there a motion?
Move for approval, Jamison.
Jamison moved. Is there a second?
Second, Brown.
Brown seconded. Further comments? Seeing no further comments, all in favor of approving item 53 will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Council members Benega,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Costello,
Yes.
Jameson,
Yes.
Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Knutson,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Item 53 has been approved 8-0. Item 54.
A resolution including certain contiguous territory within the corporate limits of the city of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, annexation 2007-01, and 02, 26th Street and South Dakota Highway 11.
This is approximately 3 acres of land. The petition has been brought to the city by the landowner is Van Buskirk, and they are going to be incorporating this into their development that we just approved the rezoning for, or we had first reading, I should say, earlier tonight. And this is a petition asking for this to be annexed.
Questions of Mike on item number 54. Others wish to address the council on item 54. Is there a motion by the council?
Move for approval, Benninga.
Benninga moves. Is there a second?
Second, Litz.
Litz seconded. Further comments? Seeing no further comments, all in favor of the motion to approve item 54, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Benega,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Costello,
Yes.
Jameson,
Yes.
Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Knutson,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 54 has been approved 8-0. Item 55.
A resolution including certain contiguous territory within the corporate limits of the city of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, annexation 2007-01-04, Ronning, 41st Street and Ellis Road.
This is approximately 4 acres of land, and again, we have a petition from Ronning Companies, the owner, requesting this property to be annexed into the city limits.
Questions of Mike on item number 55. Others wish to address council on item 55. Is there a motion?
I move for approval.
Knutson moves. Is there a second?
Second, Brown.
Brown seconds. Further comments? Seeing no further comments, all in favor of the motion to approve item 55, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Benega,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Costello,
Yes.
Jameson,
Yes.
Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Knutson,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 55 has been approved 8-0. Item 56.
A resolution including certain contiguous territory within the corporate limits of the city of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, annexation 2007-01-05, 85th Street and Kiwanis Avenue, Water Tower.
This is approximately 2 acres of land area that's currently owned by the city of Sioux Falls, and we have a petition signed by Mayor Munson requesting this to be annexed into the city, and this will be developed as an additional water storage facility.
Questions of Mike on item number 56? Others that wish to address the council on item number 56? Council, is there a motion?
Move for approval, Jamison.
Jamison moved. Is there a second?
Second, Benninga.
Benninga seconded. Further comments on that motion? There are no further comments. All in favor will vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Benega,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Costello,
Yes.
Jameson,
Yes.
Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Knutson,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 56 has been approved 8-0. Item 57.
A resolution of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rescinding resolution number 0407 and including certain contiguous territory within the corporate limits of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, annexation correction 2006-1102, 41st Street and Faith Avenue.
This property was previously annexed by the city, and it was annexed by petition from the Community Reformed Church. And we discovered when it got to the county that there was an error in the legal description, that we did not include in the legal description the Community Reformed Church addition. And so now we're coming back to make that correction.
Questions of Mike on item number 57. Others that wish to address the council on item number 57. Council, is there a motion?
I move for approval.
Knutson moves. Is there a second?
Second, Benninga.
Benning is seconded. Further comments on the motion to approve item 57? Not all in favor, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 57 has been approved 8-0. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Jameson moved. Is it
Second.
second? Brown seconded. All in favor, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Benega?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz? Staggers?
Yes.
Stand adjourned.
Thank you.
Hey, Len, how are you? I can't go tomorrow. I can't go climbing tomorrow.
I said
I thought you wanted to go climbing. Hey, thank you. I thought you wanted to go climbing. I can't do
Pay
it.
up, she says.